Well, good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Jake Lambright. Just hopping on, nothing too major going on weather-wise. Wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on, showers and storms, and also what to expect as we go through the next couple of days. Here's a look right now at our satellite here, goes east, showing Louisiana, some of those pop-up showers and storms. I'm going to circle some of those here on the screen for you real quick. And then taking a look at things out toward the east coast, here are the remnants of what's still tropical depression Chantal there out moving from North Carolina into Virginia at this point. Again, Chantal just bringing rain showers to those areas along the East Coast at this point, but otherwise, not too much going on here on radar. So here's a look at things across the state when it comes to our current radar imagery. We have a couple of showers and storms out there right now. Here in central Louisiana specifically, we've got some scattered storms mainly across the Voiles Parish. Then we also have these outflow boundaries or these lines here, thin lines of green and yellow. So if you're along those outflow boundaries, you'll notice those winds starting to pick up. And with some Gulf moisture in the area, these outflow boundaries can also act as a source of lift, which can help fuel some of those pop-up showers and storms over the southern Sabine Parish and additional rain activity there across the Vernon Parish area near Leesville and even out towards the Fort Polk radar as well. So not anything that's going to completely rain out your day by any means. Really along these little outflow boundaries that you see here, I'm going to circle some of them on the screen for maybe some additional isolated to scattered shower and storm activity to try to develop along those outflow boundaries as they continue progressing forward. I'll go ahead and loop the radar real quick and then kind of take things back out to a statewide view here in just a moment. It's taking just a second to load all this in. That's why it's acting a little funny. We get most of these outflow boundaries kind of moving off to the northwest or the west at this point, whereas the showers and storms developing along them are staying stationary, and even some of them starting to drift a little south, others drifting more northwest, just kind of depending on where those are at the current moment. Zooming things back out a little bit more, we'll kind of hop around on some radars here. We'll go to Hammond, take a look at some light to moderate rain happening there near St. George and just north of town in Baton Rouge. Other than that, Southeast Louisiana, pretty quiet for the time being. Bouncing over to the Shreveport radar here out towards northwest Louisiana and northeast Louisiana. Take just a second there for that to load in. Again, a couple of isolated showers and storms out toward northern Caddo and Bossier Parish. Additional isolated storm activity there. Strongest of that storm activity in South Arkansas is actually out in Union County right now, with some lighter rain out towards Ashley County, just to the east of Crossett. We've got additional spotty storm activity. Some of those a bit on the stronger side, but not quite severe out in Union Parish near Farmerville, and some heavy rain there moving into western Ouachita Parish along Interstate 20, likely around the Shenny area just to the east of Shudrance there, and that's kind of moving off slowly to the north as well. So again, not any kind of widespread rain, but some brief heavy downpours there. Certainly welcome this afternoon, this evening to, I guess now this evening, getting close to 7 o'clock. But that should help to provide at least some brief relief from the heat there. Let's actually go over to our observations. I can get that to pop up correctly. We'll take a look at some temperatures around the region as well. We're going to finally start to cool down as we go through the next couple of hours, of course, with the sun setting here pretty soon, which is going to be great news for us. Temperatures, though, as things stand right now, still in the 90s for a lot of the area. Of course, you can tell where some of that rain has fallen. We'll go into Opelousas there. Opelousas sitting at 76, Palmetto sitting at 80, Port Barre at 79, and then, of course, earlier this afternoon, there was a storm that kind of sat over the Lafayette area for a long period of time. Dropped some good rainfall there as well, but that also helped cool them off. And the Lafayette, Breaux Bridge, Youngsville area right now sitting in the mid 70s, so pretty noticeable difference. And we'll go back there in a moment, take a look and see how much rain fell according to those Doppler radar estimates in a little bit. Out towards Vernon Parish, Anacoco, even out toward Fort Polk, where we've had some of that isolated rain currently ongoing. That's cooled some of those areas off to the upper 70s and low 80s. And then out kind of towards, we'll go towards, I believe this is Bienville Parish here, the I-20 runs through, out towards Gibbsland and Arcadia. Temperatures right now are sitting in the mid 80s. So like I said, we did have a good little storm there sit over the Lafayette area for a good period of time. So we can actually switch that over and we'll take a look at how much rain fell a little bit earlier this afternoon. So we'll take a look first, see, I guess the Lake Charles radar might be slightly closer, and we'll get some estimates there as soon as that loads in. According to radar, some estimates are picking up about 2 to 3 inches of rain out kind of toward Lafayette, Breaux Bridge, just north of the Lauraville area. In fact, at that point, I should probably switch over our radars here, just kind of see what the radar there at Hammond also shows in the same general area. So like I said, a good amount of rain. We had a flash flood warning out there a little bit earlier, even though this radar site's kind of far away, still kind of aligning with that 2 to 3 inch, uh, 2 to 3 inches of rain when it comes to those rainfall estimates a little bit earlier this afternoon. Of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comments. I'm watching here on my phone on the side, so I'm paying close attention to those and following along with it as well. Go ahead and take that off the screen. We'll talk about what's to come as we go through the next few days. Rain chances going to be just a little bit higher as we head into the first half of the week. I think when I was forecasting on Friday, I had it at about a 20% chance of rain for today. And again, most of us staying dry, but those few lucky locations are seeing a little bit of rain this afternoon. Let's go and take a look at what our temperatures are going to look like as we go through tomorrow afternoon. Again, it's going to stay pretty warm for the most part, and not just warm, but of course, the humidity is going to stick around. It feels like temperatures will be quite warm as well. We'll take a look at our extended temperatures here. It's going to take just a second on my end for things to load in here. But of course, it's going to be another warm day, and we do have the chance for some of these spotty storms tomorrow. So a few locations will see relief from the heat, of course, as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. Looks like some of our temperatures have loaded in. So we'll go ahead and progress things forward to tomorrow morning. A lot of us across the state are going to be waking up to temperatures there in the low and mid 70s, so not too bad. But of course, it's going to feel muggy out there. So we'll be off to a warm start tomorrow morning. Of course, temperatures climb very quickly from there. By 10 a.m., a lot of the state already looking at mid 80s, maybe even low 90s, depending on where you are. So we're going to be pretty warm as we go throughout the day tomorrow. Look at those afternoon highs, of course, where you see kind of point this out here. This right here is strictly model data, of course, where you see these cooler temperatures and these lighter colors indicating cooler temperatures is where the model thinks there's going to be some rain showers. It's not going to be a slam dunk on those temperatures. I wouldn't look at it and think the DeRidder for sure will be at 77 tomorrow at 4 p.m. Again, would not take or put too much faith into those specific areas of rain slash cooler temperature. Of course, those are the kind of temperatures you can expect, upper 70s, low 80s tomorrow afternoon. But again, it's going to be warm. Take a look at some feels like temperatures about that same time, and you'll find them back generally in the upper 90s to mid triple digits across the state. Kind of oppressive feels like temperatures. Of course, we've been dealing with this for a couple weeks now. It is summertime in Louisiana. But I do want to urge you, don't let that heat sneak up on you, especially if you're going to be working outside a lot. Don't forget your water, don't forget your sunscreen, and take breaks in the shade as needed. Of course, really, really important this time of the year. Now that we've kind of taken a look at temperatures, I'm going to go back to things starting in the morning. And we'll take a look at what our rainfall coverage could look like as we go throughout the day on Monday. Again, not going to be a complete washout, not looking at widespread rain tomorrow for a lot of the state. We'll go ahead and start things off about 6 a.m. We're pretty quiet across the state of Louisiana. Of course, as we head towards the early afternoon hours, that's where we start to see the first of these showers and storms. We've got moisture coming in off the Gulf, could have that sea breeze coming in as well. That could create the first of those isolated showers and storms there along and south of the Interstate 10 corridor. Of course, as those continue moving on, we'll see additional showers and storms possible during the afternoon. Of course, some of those outflow boundaries will also provide lift, creating some of those isolated to scattered showers and storms, very similar to what we're seeing this afternoon across portions of the state. So again, not everybody will be seeing rain tomorrow, but a few spots will. If you're like me, I don't like carrying the umbrella around with me for that just in case, especially when it's a 20, 30% chance of rain, but I don't go anywhere without leaving the umbrella in my car at least. So at least have one close by with you because again, there's the chance you might need it at least for a brief period of time. And then as we head into Tuesday, of course, this is as far out as this update goes for now, but much of the same is expected. I'm going to give it about a 30 to 40% chance of rain for us in central Louisiana, and likely that will probably cover things out towards northwestern Louisiana as well. We'll go back to our observations here real quick and actually take a look at winds. This is kind of what's going on right now across a good portion of the United States. I'm just going to highlight here an area in the Gulf where I put that H, redraw that a little bit better. Or putting this H where we have high pressure in place. Of course, these wind, what we call wind barbs, are the black lines you're seeing there on the screen, and it's showing where the wind is going from and towards. So in this example here, we've got this wind barb right here. It is showing that the wind is blowing northwest in that case. I'm going to clear that one more time, redraw our H. Of course, I know out towards, and I haven't really forecasted much for this area, so I'm not going to talk much on it at this time. But of course, we've got that Gulf moisture going in with that area of high pressure. We've got those winds there going clockwise around the high. And again, I know that color there's a little conflicting. I don't think I have the option to change it right now. But of course, that Gulf moisture driving a little bit more moisture into the state of Texas, into Louisiana as well. I do believe if we take a look at radar right now, they're still dealing with some rain out in the hill country. I know we've still got some flash flood warnings in place as well. Kind of zoom in there out toward Kerrville. There's still that flash flood warning through 7:30 and out toward the Austin, Texas area, Round Rock area, even down through San Antonio. They still have some showers and storms going on at this point. So definitely going to be monitoring that area pretty closely as well. But again, going back to things here in the state, I'll give just a couple minutes if you have any questions. Again, I'm watching here on the side, and we'll answer some of those questions for you real quick. But across the state of Louisiana, even out into northeastern Texas, not much in the way of rain ongoing right now, just a couple of those scattered storms. Of course, those that do see a little bit of rainfall this afternoon will see a brief cool down as well. I will say one thing I just noticed here along this outflow boundary, kind of draw a line along it, seeing here a little pop-up storm developing along 28 in between Vernon Parish and the Alexandria area. That's Western Rapides Parish. So out, see if I can get some town names in here. And I know I've been through this area before. Do not know why I cannot remember some of these town names off the top of my head. But again, seeing some rain out there currently. I cannot remember what some of these communities are. Near the Otis and Hineston community, there we go. Rain pops up in these areas all the time. I look at these areas on the map once a week. I do not know why I cannot remember those names. But out kind of near Otis, maybe just north of you over in Hineston, we've got some moderate to heavy rainfall falling right now. Of course, that little pop-up storm there initiating along that little outflow boundary there. And of course, we've got more of those outflow boundaries across the region today, so don't be surprised if we see some more isolated scattered shower and storm development as we head through the rest of this evening. Now, I will say this too. Some of these outflow boundaries, if that outflow boundary hasn't moved over you yet, expect some gusty winds, and also you might notice some ominous looking clouds. And again, not everywhere along that outflow boundary is seeing some rain right now. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're in for a serious storm, but winds will likely be gusty for at least a minute there. And those outflow boundaries can provide some lift, which could help get one of those brief rain showers going in your area. I see that Michael is joining me this afternoon. Thanks, or this evening. Got my time mixed up here. Thanks for joining me, Michael. Let me actually see. I forgot to add in. Okay. It looks like some of those questions there are starting to uh, pop in on the screen. So if you have questions, they will also show up. I just turned it on at the bottom of my screen there, so I can also see them as well. I see Rhonda this evening is watching from Marksville. Thanks, Rhonda, for joining me. Okay, looks like some of our questions there coming in. Might even adjust that just a smidge. Bring that down. Thank you very much, Marie, for joining me this afternoon. Again, not a lot going on. I might, if y'all like these kinds of weather updates, might do some of these during the morning and then or early afternoon, and then of course more focused on Central Louisiana. Don't know what I'm saying there. I will focus a little bit more on Central Louisiana, of course, on social media and also on our KLB platforms on days that I work as well. Today was just a day. I'm not at work, it's my weekend. Thought I'd hop on here and just kind of talk about what's going on. See, Dakota here is asking real quick about the Farmerville area. Go ahead and focus in on that a little bit. So y'all have had this storm kind of sitting stationary over y'all for the last couple minutes. See if we can get some more of that radar data to load. Right now, y'all are dealing with some moderate to heavy rain. It does look like there's a special weather statement running through 7:45 this evening, mainly to account for some gusty winds up to 40 miles per hour and some hail. Let's see how size, pea-size hail. So staying well below severe limits. Of course, that's a 1/4 of an inch in diameter. Severe limit hail is about 1 inch in diameter or quarter size. So right now, they're dealing with some heavy rain, and until that storm eventually just falls out and gives up, expect that moderate to heavy rainfall to continue for a little while longer. That's how things are going in Farmerville right now. Also, kind of a little bit of a storm sitting almost stationary along Interstate 20 there in western Ouachita Parish. I'll leave things open for just a couple minutes on questions, and then go ahead and hop off if there are any additional questions at this time. With that said, though, I will make a post on Facebook about this tomorrow, actually. But we are getting to the time of the year where things are going to quiet down a little bit more. I mean, we've seen this the last couple weeks, just those isolated to scattered showers and storms in the afternoon, not much in the way of severe weather. Most of us dealing with the heat and things in the tropics. Better find some wood to knock on while I say it. But, at least the next week to maybe even 2 weeks, the tropics are expected to be pretty quiet. Also, we don't like to say the Q word a lot in the meteorology world because that seems to really ramp things up. But not a lot going on in the tropics right now, not for the next week or so. And then, of course, also we're not in prime severe weather season. So tomorrow night, I'll be on KALB, of course, my normal shows 4, 5, 6, 6:30, and 10. But beyond that, I'm going to be spending a little bit of time with family, a couple weeks with family while the weather is pretty quiet. So I'll keep you posted on social media with some posts, usually on Facebook. But you will not see me on air for a little while. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back at KLB, of course, before the end of the month. But I did want to give any of you in central Louisiana watching a heads up. I'll post a little bit more about that on social media tomorrow. But just gonna focus on taking a little bit of a break and spending some much needed time with family while things comes to our weather. All right, so I don't have any more questions here at this time, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off for the evening. Of course, I'll keep you posted on social media if there's anything in the way of rain going toward tomorrow, and on our KLB platforms as well, of course. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and hop off. If you have any feedback, let me know in the comments. And if you're just now joining, once I stop this live stream, it will be available for replay. You can find that on my Facebook page, of course, Jake Lambright. It will also be available for replay over on my YouTube channel, which is also Jake Lambright. So thank you for joining me this evening. Of course, I'll see you bright and early on social media, or I say bright and early. I'll see you back on social media at some point during the day tomorrow.